Hey guys, welcome to a new video. Like, comment and subscribe if you enjoy. Without any further interruptions, enjoy the What If. Chapter 55. Shopping and Students Konohamaru no Sato, a day after Tsunade is made Godime. There exists a single word that is more terrifying than invasion, epidemic, apocalypse and rectal cancer. It's a word that half the population will squeal in happiness over, and the other will groan over. What do you mean, shopping? Naruto yelled in horror. He had woken up, not only alone, as abnormal as that was, but his suit was gone. In a frenzy, he had searched the house, until he eventually found it in the hands of Fu, Haku, Hyuga, Hinata, who still didn't live here, and Isaribi, who had recently moved in as well. Naruto-kun, you really need to get something new. This thing is older than my sister, and it's about to fall apart, Hinata sighed. Ironically, as she finished, the poor thing exploded. No, my precious. Naruto wailed in agony. The girls sighed. Now then, to the clothing store. The girls all cheered happily. Naruto shivered. How could they possibly like such a horror? He made up his mind. Dramatic. Naruto began to yell, before Haku caught on to him. Ice release. Brain freeze. Naruto froze on the spot. Fu then lifted the frozen form of their boyfriend over her shoulder. Now then, to the clothing store. The girls yelled out in glee, sending out powerful shopping vibes of unfathomable levels across Konoha. In the deer forests of the Narashikakua and Skikimaru, currently checking on their clan's deer, suddenly found themselves in fear. The deer began to bellow in panic and look around. Elsewhere, the Abarame's bugs began to retreat from their human nests, the Inuzuka hounds began to howl and Chusa found himself too terrified to finish the 8th apple pie. No. Yoshino-chan wants to go shopping. Troublesome drag. To the shopping vibes shelter. Shikamaru pressed a knob in a nearby tree before a chute opened up, which both of them slid down an intricate maze. The deer blinked, before moving around the knob like a wall of meat to hide it from wife eyes, should she come looking for them. As they reached the bottom of the shelter, they found themselves seeing Inochi, Chusa and Shibi, with Choji, Shino and Kiba as well. The group also augmented with Akamaru, Kitamaru and Hana's dogs. They nodded. You guys too. They nodded. The dogs whimpered in agreement. Don't worry, we left some donuts for you, Choji grinned. But, how long do we need to hide? Shikaku shrugged. Judging by the troublesome waves of shopping vibes, anywhere from a day to 5, we fixed the dance revolution, right? More nods. Yeah, I'll be taking my title back, Kitamaru Tem. Inoichi yelled at the scared nin dog, who grinned. That grin said, yeah right stupid human. Kitamaru then successfully defended, and expanded, his title as Konoha Dance Revolution champion, before Tora found his way in, and beat the old dog. A mentally scaring shopping run later. See Naruto, was that so bad? Isaribi cooed. Naruto pouted. You didn't have to immobilize me like that. Naruto was now wearing an orange undershirt, with the Konoha flak jacket over it. The Uzumaki seal present on the uniform as ever. He also had black Anbu pants, and his ninjutsu and scroll holder tied on the same leg as it used to on his old look and his belt. Of course, Naruto wasn't the only one to get an upgrade in the looks department. Each girl had decided it was time to upgrade their wardrobes. Haku now had on light blue and white version of her old hunter nin robes, with the arm warmers removed. She had replaced her original hair bindings with some that resembled rabbits. Fu no longer had her container on her back, and had replaced her white top and short apron thing with a green top that showed off more cleavage with no net armor, and large-bottomed green pants that went down to her knees. Hinata had replaced her jacket with a purple one, Shippuden, but otherwise looked much the same. Tayuya now had replaced most of her original look with a Konoha flak, as a jibe at her former controllers in Odo, with a turtleneck collared shirt covering her curse mark that was colored red, with her old shorts still present with fishnet armor covering her legs. Isaribi, while not a ninja, found herself with a new look as well. She now had a blue t-shirt like her old tank top and pale pants. After all, while she didn't have to pay rent, she still wanted to do something in exchange for being around, and keeping the Namikaze place in shape was something. I suddenly find myself missing Iruka-sensei's lectures. Naruto shivered at the shopping memory. So many shoes. And undergarments. Oh, Naruto-kun, his lectures, weren't that, maybe a little, Hinata commented. Naruto sighed. A little, I swear he was using a, bored to death, not jutsu during them. Naruto shrugged, good guy, boring classes. Speaking of, said boring classes a week or so later. Iruka and his new class, consisting such faces such as Konohamaru and his little passe, as well as Hanabi, were out in a field outside the academy. He seemed happy for some reason. Okay class, as you may or may not be aware, many things have changed as of late. The death of the civilian councils and elders, and reforms to the education system that had been put in place. And it was time to explain those reforms. Or to put it better, him and his assistant would teleport. Dynamic entry. A burst of yellow light filled the area, as a grinning Naruto appeared. Iruka smiled. Right on time Naruto-kun. If only you were like that with homework and class. That set the entire crowd of children laughing, well asides from Hanabi anyway. After all, Hyugas don't laugh in merriment or they tell themselves that anyway. Hey boss. Konohamaru gave a thumbs up, but before it got out of hand, Iruka decided to retake control. Okay class, as you may or may not be aware of, there have been some changes to not only the teaching body, as in, one Ebisu, who had been pressed to take a jutsu training course after he lost his leg due to Amaterasu flames. As well as to the graduation system. I asked one of my more recent graduated students, Jonin Namikaze, ne Uzumaki Naruto. Wait, that means I'm technically can order you to. Iruka chuckled, before shutting him down. No, Naruto-kun, you can't change what I teach. Naruto grumbled some incoherent mumbling, something to do with banning writing essays or something. Anyway, by the combined wisdoms of the Sandyame and Godaime Hokages, we have come to a conclusion that the former educational system, established after the Kyuubi attack, is no longer efficient, aka, the system needs to regain its former focus on quality rather than quantity. After all, you can't have too many ninja like Sakura running around, no. For that reason, we have decided to revert the passing standards back to what they were before. Naruto looked confused. Wait, you mean the rules changed at some point? Iruka smiled. That they did. The civilian council, in all their wisdom, only true ninjas, like Naruto, and even the Konohamaru squad and Hanabi, could detect the sarcasm hidden there, had decided to make the academy standards more based for lower chakra quantity students, civilians, which in turn made it more difficult for students with more chakra quantity, Naruto. However, the way they were trained actually was making fewer quality shinobi, so for that reason, we are changing them back. First off, and this is not for all of you, higher skill students are now able to graduate earlier if they have the necessary skills. This had been revoked after Itachi had his fun with the Uchiha, hence why Sasuke and Neji, and other prodigies, didn't graduate earlier than they did. Of course, the only students who could really hope for that would be Konohamaru, Moegi, Udon and Hanabi. Also, the clone jutsu is no longer a requirement for graduation. That jutsu had been planted as a boost to civilians, who could generally pull the technique off easily when compared to other clan ninja who had larger chakra quantities, such as Choji, Naruto, Kiba and Sasuke, inadvertently for him anyways. That, and the jutsu was virtually useless, only an idiot would really fall for it. Yes, the evil jutsu is gone. Naruto cheered, before blinking awkwardly. Really, this guy's a jonin, was the thought in half the kids' heads. You also need to pass the academy courses, decently, no change there really, that includes the henge and substitution jutsus, the only really useful jutsus they taught here, and staples in shinobi life. And finally, you need to be able to do a jutsu not from the academy, or a technique from your clans with skill to my satisfaction. This got whispering and worry. Wait, we have to learn jutsu on our own. Isn't that dangerous? Are they crazy? Don't worry, the library has books filled with jutsu that you all could pull off without much trouble. Now, I asked Naruto-kun here to help demonstrate some appropriate jutsu, that was, no kinjutsu or perverted jutsu allowed. Gotcha. Now let's see. Oh, here's one, summoning jutsu. A poof of smoke rose up from around Naruto, as Mr. Ostrich appeared, but he was covered in dust. Wait, where am I? The bird asked. Hey, don't summon me while I'm dust bathing, you little human. Naruto was then chased around by the ostrich. The class broke out into laughter, even Iruka and slightly from Hanabi as well. Well, that was the summoning jutsu, which allows one to summon an animal to assist in tasks. However, as you can see from that, Naruto still being chased by the angry bird, the summon doesn't exactly have to agree to help. You also require a summoning scroll to be signed, so I doubt many of you will have a chance to use that jutsu. Konohamaru grinned, he was so going to get his gramps to teach him. As Naruto finally desummoned the bird, he chuckled. Sorry about that, here's another one then, Shadow Kunai Clone Jutsu. Naruto tossed a kunai into the air, before the single kunai multiplied into 1,000. Iruka shook his head. The Shadow Kunai Clone Jutsu allows for the mass multiplication of kunai, like you see above, but I doubt any of them could pull that jutsu off, that and the plummeting weapons concerned him. But Naruto was on it. Wind release. Wind encampment wall. A wall of wind formed around them, blocking the kunai from impaling the youngsters. Iruka shook his head once more. That was the elemental release jutsu, of which there are 5 basic ones. Wind like that jutsu. Could you give me some examples for the others, Naruto-kun? Naruto nodded. There's fire. Fire release. Fireball. Naruto formed the fireball into his hands. Iruka nodded. Lightning. Naruto tossed the fireball into the air. Lightning release. Shock palm. Naruto struck the fireball with an electric palm, shattering it. Iruka shook his head. Did he have to make a show of it? Then water. Water release. Water tornado. A tornado of water formed around Naruto. Iruka smiled. And finally, earth. Naruto broke the jutsu and did the hand signs for earth release. Swap of the UNDEWORLD. Nothing happened. Gaki. A distant-sounding Jiraiya yelled in fury. Naruto sighed. Why does it always trap the pervy sage? He released the jutsu. Iruka sighed. Never mind that. Anyways, before any of you get your hopes up, Naruto is unique. The Kekkei Genkai thing was just too much for them right now. In using all 5, most of you will only have 1 or 2. For more level-appropriate jutsu, you can ask your new teacher, Ebisu. A little later, teach us Naruto Nichan. Just as he had gotten out of the awesome teacher's lounge, he had no idea he was on both the wall of great students, and infamous ones as well. Konohamaru and the gang had surrounded him. Wait, I'm no sensei. You're better than Ebisu sensei, please, please. Konohamaru began to tantrum, while Moegi was using the puppy eye no jutsu on him, which doesn't get graduation points, by the way. Naruto shivered, before Iruka appeared behind him. Oh come on, it would be fine, Naruto-kun. You could easily be their Jonin sensei in a year or 2, so you might as well get some practice. Kami, they already idolize you, and picked up your sexy jutsu, though Iruka made it clear, that would not pass you. Naruto was looking for an answer, when he felt a gaze bore into his sides. He turned to see Hanabi staring at him. Fight me, she simply said. New moves: ice release, brain freeze. Kekkei Genkai. The description. A person's body is frozen by rendering the brain unable to operate temporarily. Teleport. Dynamic entry. Kekkei Genkai. The description. Hopping into a location with a huge flash of yellow light. Wind release. Wind encampment wall. Rank. B description. Wind version of water encampment wall. Chapter 56. Hyuga Politics. The Academy. Naruto blinked in shock. This child, not even a genin, just challenged him out the blue. A heiress to Konoha's most powerful clan at that, now that the Uchiha were decimated and the Namikaze hadn't done a Jiraiya's fantasy yet anyway. Naruto was now trapped. No option left to him seemed to save him face. He could refuse, but then she could say that he was too scared to fight a little girl. If he beat her up, he'd be vilified for harming a young clan heiress. If he let her beat him up, he'd be beaten by a little heiress. In all senses of the word, Naruto was screwed. Here he trained so hard, using shadow clone training to speed up his ability to learn jutsu, a method he was teaching to Fu, Haku, Hinata and to Yuya these days, and apparently a little girl would be the opponent to beat him. What irony. Iruka scowled. He had a bad feeling he knew exactly what was happening here. Hanabi probably had been encouraged to do this by the only real Naruto haters left in Konoha. The elders of the Hyuga clan. Hyuga compound. Hiyashi was a man of few emotions, expectation that superseded mountains and compared to the usual Hyuga, rather unperverted, though he still had a few high-quality videos of his times with his wife, and a few hardcover Ika-Ikas. However, he was feeling a certain emotion rather heavily at this time. A huge boatload of stress. His position in the clan was weakening, for reasons that seemed off. First, the daughter who appeared to be unfit to lead the clan, Hinata, developed the Hyuga's rarest trait and drew against his nephew, the clan's prodigy. Then, the Jinchuriki of Konoha, Naruto Uzumaki, was revealed to be the son of Minato Namikaze, the Yondaime Hokage. This made him many things: rich, powerful, and the Kekkei Genkei he possessed could be aligned to the Hyuga via marriage. Hinata's crush would preserve Hyuga power for another generation. It also helped remove Hinata from the heir chain. Not that was really something he wanted, but it would ensure that Hanabi would become the next clan head. She had the temperament for it, and showed the signs of the skills. He had also tested her for the Aurora release trait, and while she didn't have it, she was a carrier of the bloodline. While lacking wind chakra nature of the right level, she had a predominantly fire nature, and just below it lightning and water natures at a powerful level. With a father with a wind affinity, her children could possess Aurora release. It was sort of a 50-50 thing, but the Hyuga generally had more children than other clans did, so it wasn't as much of an issue. At the same time, Hiyashi was slowly working to dissolve the main and branch houses, him giving Neji training and permitting the branch members to learn the 32 palms on a general level were ways to accomplish this. He had also relived the blanket ban on non-Hyuga jutsu to all members. After all, Neji and Hinata had shown the potentials of the in combination with the gentle fist. He planned to get the shadow clone jutsu from either Naruto or the Hokage at some later point. But then, there were the elders. The elders resented change, and they despised Naruto. The ancient perverts hadn't even seen the boy, and they still saw him as the fox reborn, despite his attempts to reason with them. After all, if he was the fox, wouldn't he have noticed Hinata's feelings long ago? The fox wasn't that dim. The elders, because of this, were working on undermining his authority in the clan, and sadly it was starting to bear fruit. Many in the main house were starting to resent him, though he was universally supported in the branch. And this was fact. He had Neji pull them anonymously, no threats of brain melting were used. He was worried that they'd try something to destroy Naruto's reputation, and to give reason to keep Hinata apart from him that didn't seem fishy. He had noticed main branch members follow his daughter on many occasions, but they always lost her. After all, the Namikaze house wasn't exactly findable by even the Bukagen. He hoped that would dissuade them, as he managed to keep them from approaching her, and seeing as the branch house cooked, there wasn't any likelihood of her being poisoned by them. He just hoped they didn't try to convince Hanabi to help him. Hanabi was loyal to the Hyuga, obedient and skilled, a perfect future leader. However, when you're only 7, going on 8, and told to do something by your elders, that was a double-edged sword. The Academy Iruka shook his head. This wouldn't end well. Hey, Hanabi-san, what's the big idea challenging the boss like that? He's a Jonin, and the future Rokudaime. You're an academy student, Konohamaru yelled in a fury. Hanabi ignored him. Orduyaro-sama. Oh, if any of you translate this, be free to laugh via comments. Use Google Translate. One of the elders of the Hyuga main household stated that as a Hyuga heiress, I must prove my skills against a powerful opponent. That, and I want to see if Hinata Nichan picked a strong crush. She entered a gentle fist stance. Naruto shook his head annoyed. Really, this won't end well. He got ready to deal with the little brat, before an arm blocked their attack path. Tesun's arm, to be exact. Hola, Naruto-kun, and a few little clan heirs at that. The heir of the Sarutobi, Hyuga, and the clans of those two old bats, he chuckled, getting a scowl from Udo and Moegi. What the heck do you want? Naruto yelled at the man. He shrugged. Oh, I'm just here to mess with you, that's it. After all, you are our clan's future, and thus must be as strong as possible. Of course, one is nothing without those you hold as friends. At the same time, I do believe I should give you a few more scrolls of mine. A summoning here, and some of the jutsu not given from your Kekkei scroll, ranging from Apple Shuriken and Banana Boomerang, to Requiem of Poseidon, Beast Wave Palm, Hiroshima, Big Easy Raw, and of course, the ultimate Gentle Fist. Hanabi blinked in shock. Ultimate Gentle Fist. Tesu chuckled. Yep, a jutsu at the level of Chidori, capable of making your old style look like child play. Hanabi glared at him. And how could you, someone without the Byakugan, make it better? Tesu grinned. It was a theory, but I did get a chance to test drive it, for you see, I had a hand in ensuring Hinata-chan had the skills to fight against Neji-san in the Chunin exam finals. In the cover of darkness, I delivered a scroll to Hinata-chan's quarters in the Hyuga compound. It was actually rather easy in perspective. You guys could really use a security boost. Might I recommend guard dogs? Observing the matches of the exams, Hinata clearly showed her ability to use the wind release, 8 trigrams air palm and lightning release, gentle fist, so thus he techniques would work. And thus, the potential for the ultimate, gentle, fist. Of course, if you want it, you have to retrieve them, hidden in the cave system a few miles north of the village. Naruto's eye twitched. Wait, you're not trying to help me, you are just doing this because you want cheap entertainment. Tesu chuckled. Actually, it's both. Oh, by the way, this jutsu is among the scroll's contents, striking shadow ramen. Tendrils of ramen flew from Tesu, flying out the window and latching onto a building spiral some distance away. I believe I left it as a mission in the Hokage's office, and take the midgets with you. Tesu swung away, leaving a sighing Naruto and Iruka, and a confused mob of children. That guy is a nut. Some walking, cage bribing and a long walk with grouchy children later. Naruto and the group of young students found themselves at the entrance to a great cave, made of gray stone. Naruto turned to Hanabi. Is in here? He asked. Hanabi glared at the boy, not respecting his authority, before activating her Byakugan regardless. Cool, boss, can you do that? Konohamaru asked. Naruto chuckled. Hanabi didn't look at them. After all, it was Hyuga law to hide their pervertedness to outsiders. Looking at them would see through their cloths with the Byakugan, and with the likely reaction, the clan's secret night life would be ruined. She would not be the one to ruin her clan. Nope, found it, Hanabi commented. About 1,000 paces in, the group entered the cave, in search of the treasure. However, this time they weren't being watched by Tesu, but by ninja from the former village of Ibugakure no Sato, or the Hidden Ivy village, or rather 2 descendants of them. So, the witch Tsunade is the Hokage. What irony really, she now is officially a good-for-nothing hoe, one commented. The other grinned. But, check it out, a Hyuga and that Namikaze Naruto. He took out a recent bingo book, standard issue of all ninja. Namikaze Naruto, worth 50 million ryo on the bounty market both ways, dead, and worth 50 million, alive to a megakure, and a Hyuga to sell off. Who knows what villages will eat up that opportunity? This may just be our lucky day. A Ridge Text Fire Release. Hiroshima Rank. S description. From the user, a giant blast of fire is spewed, with enough force to melt a mountain. A kill yourself in doing so kinjutsu. Can only be used without dying under specific circumstances. Fox. Teleportation. Lava-proof skin. Big Easy Rasengan Rank. A description. A chakra sphere is formed in one's hand, before being moved to the fingers where it is spun. After about a few seconds, the sphere is then sent at the foe like a basketball or dodgeball. Chapter 57. A Love Story Reborn. The Civilian Council, a group virtually a universal anti-Naruto squad. Despite being from a ninja village, they appear to lack any real skill and do many things to derail the power of shinobi to increase their own. In virtually all of its incarnations, Sakura's mother is on the council, and is a huge bitch. Members usually include at least one ancient geezer, one fat merchant and of course, a Haruno. They believe that due to the laws of Konoha protecting them from shinobi violence, probably meant to protect them from being extorted or made into ninja sex slaves or something, they are the most powerful people in the village. They are usually the origin of the majority of the Hokage's paperwork. Oftentimes, they are huge supporters of Sasuke Uchiha, who worship and spoil him. Most of them are greedy and self-absorbed. Many are after the estate of the Yondaime, and some wild howler monkeys seek to marry the Uchiha. On occasion, they will do dark things beyond speakable horrors. See One Man Team for what I mean. Often in collaboration with the elders Homaru, Kaharu and Danzo, they are responsible for virtually all Naruto banishment in Fix, with the occasional aid of the daimyo, and a shinobi clan head on the council, usually Hiyashi, but occasionally Sume, and at times all of them. In the stories they appear, they become legal issues for Naruto to overcome to gain what he deserves, usually aided by the Hokage and the shinobi council to do it. Pull, 18 to Brilliant, 16 to Revenge, 2 for Hidden. Heavy Metal Rock On, Cave System, Scroll Chest, all, these, Jutsu, and they're all mine. Naruto cheered. Udon then took a few of the scrolls and looked over them. Genjutsu, Sunset Mental Scaring, Sealing, Hormone Overdrive Release Seal, Sealing Art, Acne Explosion, Sealing, Sugar High Erupting Chaos. Konohamaru shivered. I don't know why, but those jutsu really seemed to disturb me. The two shivered. Moegi then noticed some summoning scrolls. Giraffe, Elephant, Salamander, Iguana, Kangaroo, Duck, Dolphin, Horse, where did that guy get all of these? She commented in wonder, all of them unaware of the trap about to be sprung as Konohamaru skimmed a scroll on fire releases. He noticed one that looked interesting, a beginner's fire technique known as fire release, detonating sparks. The AB ninja were prepared for their exiting of the cave, with a trap already set. A large net hung over the entrance, to be activated via a trip wire in the cave's mouth. To them, this should be quite ingenious. However, they had forgotten about the Byukugen, and how early one would train in it. Naruto, with the chest of scrolls, including the ones that Udon and Konohamaru had looked at back in, though he did glimpse the ultimate gentle fist, and he couldn't really say he was disappointed, had a bad feeling about something. Hanabi-chan, could you check the entrance with your Byukugen? The girl glared at him again, before complying. As she observed the mouth of the cave, she blinked and deactivated it. There's a net trap straight ahead, with two ninja. As far as I could tell, they had chakra levels around low chunin. And apparently you have cage level chakra. Odd. Some respect for the one her sister was fixated on appeared in Hanabi. Naruto however wasn't exactly happy. This was supposed to be a simple mission to pass time and to perhaps placate Hanabi to keep her from trying to challenge him. That, and Fu, Haku, Hinata and Tayuya were out on a B-rank mission to the land of the sea, with Isaribi along as a guide, so he was bored. Also, Tenten and Team Guy were out on a B-rank mission to the land of Bean Jam, not that he knew Tenten was fixated on him. Okay, this is getting complicated, so please listen. There are two ninja out there, for what reason I don't know. I should be able to dispose of them easily, but just in case, I need you all to stay in the cave. Hanabi-chan, keep your Byukugen active, and warn me if any other foes appears, he ordered. The Konohamaru squad looked like they were ready to object, but they thought otherwise. But, Naruto-ni-san. Moegi began. Won't you get hurt? He smiled. Don't worry, I'll be fine, Dabio, believe it, he did a series of hand signs. After all, I didn't gain my rank just for having a cage's worth of chakra, I have skills just as well. Wind release, great breakthrough. Naruto breathed out a huge gust of wind from his mouth, blowing into the net and sending it flying before he followed. Wind release, wind fleets. Naruto's feet began to glow with wind-based chakra, increasing his speed as he flew forward out of the cave. The two AB ninja didn't look that pleased. Damn, he destroyed our trap. Too bad, looks as though we have to do it the hard way. The two AB ninja drew handfuls of shuriken and tossed them at Naruto. Using wind fleet speed, he dodged them, however that was a problem. Well, looks like he left the brats open. Fool, one of the ninja flew towards the cave, however the other wasn't so dumb. Wait, no, Naruto bit his finger before doing boar, dog, bird and then monkey. Summoning jutsu. From a poof of smoke, the toad Gamma appeared, who sent his tongue flying at the AB ninja, who was bound by the large tongue. What the he? The tongue swung him back towards Naruto, who was really wishing he had that ultimate gentle fist jutsu ready, but still this would have to do. Shadow clone jutsu. Naruto formed a shadow clone, who began to shape a sphere into his hands. As the sphere was completed, the foe was in range for Rasengan. The chakra attack slammed into the foe's chest, sending him flying back as Gamma released his tongue. The Ivy Descendant slammed into a tree, landing on the ground as the large oak fell as well, crushing the ninja beneath it. The tree also by mistake took out Naruto's clone. Awesome. The boss is the best. Konohamaru fist pumped into the air. Naruto ni-san, you rock. Moegi yelled. Hanabi found her respect for him grow more. The other AB ninja was now fuming. How dare you, you bastard. I'm going to kill you. He drew a handful of kunai and sent them flying at Naruto and Gamma. Naruto dodged them, while Gamma just poofed away to avoid the metal storm. Naruto didn't even appear fatigued. This foe was rather weak for him. In fact, he wondered if the students could fight him, but then again who wanted 8-year-olds killing people? Their foe then drew a Fuma Shuriken, boldly showing it off. Will you just die? Shadow Shuriken technique. Not the clone one. He tossed the Fuma, with a second in its shadow. Naruto wasn't shocked. He used the jutsu enough times, such as against Zabuza in collaboration with Sasuke, reluctantly. You know, I was hoping to use this jutsu at some point, so thank you for giving me this perfect time to do so. Fire release, great fireball technique. Naruto did horse and tiger, before spitting out the Uchiha's favorite jutsu. The giant fireball struck the shuriken, melting it before striking the AB ninja, striking him into a tree where he slumped down, permanently. Awesome. Konohamaru said amazed. Hanabi was now placated towards him being her sister's love. He's quite skilled, and from what I saw at the exams, quite powerful. But why did the elders tell me he was weak? I should talk to father about what's going on. However, at least one person wasn't happy about what had happened, and she was currently crouched behind a rock on top of the cave system, disguised in a black cloak. It was the Uchiha's servant, /sex slave, /bitch, who had possessed the body of Sakura. She was glaring at the demon child, who dared to use a Uchiha technique. No one, but a Uchiha, should use that jutsu. Uchiha-sama will expect me to kill him, and I shall. A staticky mass formed on her hand, a jutsu of immense power. Reikiri, lightning blade, the evolved Chidori. Taking the initiative, she leapt from the rock-topped cave, and flew at Naruto, who looked up in shock. What the hell? That came out of nowhere. He didn't have much time to react with hand signs, she was moving far too fast. Naruto ni-san. The Konohamaru squad yelped, and Hanabi was shocked. That person somehow got past her Byakugan. How could that even be possible? She may be a kid, but someone like that, with chakra for AS rank jutsu like Reikiri, was impossible to miss. So, how did she miss her? Fire release. Small flame stream. He spat a stream of flames towards his foe, who used Reikiri to easily slice through them. However, die dem, she yelled, before Konohamaru managed to take initiative. He had seen this jutsu on the scroll, and he hoped it would work. Fire release. Detonating sparks. With monkey and tiger, Konohamaru spewed out dozens of fire sparks, that detonated after 5 seconds, around the assailant. She was blasted back, not expecting that, and landed on the ground. Naruto sighed in relief, before glaring at the figure. Hey, that's Kakashi Sensei's jutsu, how do you have it? Earth release. Dust ball. He sent the earth jutsu in his arsenal, that didn't work only on perverted sages towards the assassin, who sliced through it with Reikiri, before she charged straight at him now ready to kill. However, Naruto was ready this time. Wind release. Wind encampment wall. A wall of wind formed around him, blocking Reikiri and diffusing it. The assassin was now stuck on just a punch. Water release. Water tornado. Naruto spun around, in a water tornado, blocking the fist barely and forcing the foe off. She growled, before retreating. After all, why get sweaty before the Uchiha gave her a reason? Naruto sighed. This is going to be a nasty report to write, a day later. After writing the mission report, and depositing the scrolls in the Namikaze residence, things went relatively back to normal. However, the assassin was a worrisome topic. Somehow, the assassin not only had the killing jutsu of choice of Kakashi, but also knew of his Jinchuriki status. That couldn't be good. Due to this, Tsunade had sent a message to Kakashi to return from his self-imposed exile for avoiding the Uchiha. Hanabi, however, decided to improve herself 100% after what had occurred there. Her Byakugan still needed fine-tuning. And she found herself a perfect way to practice it. By imitating her sister, and stalking the most unpredictable, yet skilled, boy in her class, who happened to wear a large blue scarf. Of course, it didn't hurt that he was cute. Meanwhile, dark cave in land of rivers. 9 holograms appeared suddenly on top of a statue's fingers: Sasori, Itachi, Kisame, Deidara, Kakuzu, Konan, Pain, Zetsu, and some weird guy with a orange spiral mask. He must be the new sucker stuck with Kakuzu. So, is it confirmed, Zetsu-san? Pain asked the plant man. He answered back. Yes, the Shadaime and Nadaime Hokages are both out on an S-class mission to the land of fangs. Apparently, a rogue ninja from the Leaf was spotted there, a ninja by the name of Onshirazu Tsuchibuta. Okay, this translation better bring a laugh or two, you might need to add no in between them. Sasori appeared interested. I heard of him. He was one of the ninja who the White Fang saved at the expense of that mission, who betrayed him over it. Must have tailed it when the Fang's son sensei came to power. Pain nodded. True, and from what I understand, he is a master of earth release jutsu. For that reason, Konan-san, Kakuzu-san. Let me come along, Leader-sama. Please, Toby will be a good boy, so I can cream that Senju once and for all in the name of myself, Uchiha Madara, the new guy yelled childishly. Pain sighed. Okay, Toby-san, and myself will intercept, and kill all of them. A ridge moves genjutsu, sunset mental scaring rank, S. Description: a torture technique even Ibiki would never use. It traps the user in a vision of them hugging guy in the sunset genjutsu. To add to the horror is an issue in the illusion, a slight lack of clothing. Sealing: hormone overdrive release seal rank, S. Description: a seal that causes an overdrive of hormones emanating from the body. Someone affected by the seal would be swarmed by the opposite gender to be relentlessly raped, until the user dies of a broken pelvis. Fluffy wanted this seal on Naruto's. Sealing: acne explosion rank, see description: acne spews across a person's face who has been affected by the seal. Sealing: sugar high erupting chaos rank, a description: the person affected by this seal will be put in a permanent sugar rush. Fire release: detonating sparks rank, D. Description: the user spews out sparks that float around the target before exploding. Chapter 58. Disaster in Suna Sunagakure no Sato, the village in the sand, known to old people as Sunagakure no Sato, to which some people who love the crossings of overs is partial to both of them. The hidden village of the desolate land of wind is home to many interesting sites and marks in shinobi history. The Nadaime Kazekage was the first to investigate the possibility of Jinchuriki since the Sage of the Six Paths himself. The creator of puppets, Monzaemon Chikamitsu, hails from this region, and his 10 greatest puppets are currently in the hands of the ancient Chiyo, who was once Tsunade's arch-nemesis. It is believed that Chiyo has 2 pictures to use as dartboard targets: Tsunade and the White Fang, Kakashi's father who killed her son and daughter-in-law. She is also the grandmother of Akatsuki member, Sasori of the Red Sands. This village also is currently lacking a cage. Their previous Kazekage was recently found dead in a pit, killed by Orochimaru. Of course, this village didn't have a buxom legend to drag in for the job, nor did they a perverted legend to conscript either. Recently, several shinobi members of the council have suggested Gaara, though the civilian council of Suna, the last one in the 5 great shinobi nations to be exact, stands against them in that regard. Instead, they insisted on his banishment, an increase in water taxes on shinobi, more camel legislation and the usage of shinobi labor to create a public bath. Currently, the elder siblings, Chiyo and her brother Ebizo, have bets on when the civilian council will be removed. Most shinobi in the village are backing Chiyo's bet of 2 weeks. Of course, should Ebizo's month bet wins, he and the couple who bet on him will gain enough cash each to buy a pure breed camel, 100 kanai and an imported chocolate bar from the land of candy the size of Akamaru. Though some were partial to the public bath, however, as a village in the desert, it has an inescapable weakness. Sand Siblings' house. It was early morning at the house of the Sand Siblings, and relatively quiet. Konkuro was fast asleep, snoring while muttering, "Aika, no, don't, she's your friend's sister," and giggling perversely, a doll based off the cover female of Aika Aika Paradise, the books from the series visible around the room. Of course, he hid them whenever they spring cleaned, lest he get smacked with an oversized fan. Gaara also was fast asleep, enjoying his new ability to, holding close to him his old teddy bear. Luckily he had a dark, windowless room from the time assassins were a problem. A stuffed raccoon and fox were also in the room, with a nocturnal cactus adding a flower of pink color to the room. Though oddly he and Naruto had similar ramen posters in his room. Finally, the only female in the household was taking advantage of the quiet of the morning to rid herself of the sweat and odor from the previous day, via a shower. She hummed as the water cascaded over her body, washing away accumulated grime, sand and odor. Tamari loved the relaxing feeling of a nice shower to start the day, the only one amongst the siblings anywhere. Apparently, Gaara could use his sand to deodorize, rub off grime and sand on him was a good thing. Of course, before he had his time with Tesu and Fluffy before the exams as training, he didn't bother, and smelled like blood. Konkuro maybe showered once a month. However, the water then suddenly shut off, setting off a scream of panic. Gaara rocketed himself awake. That can't be good, he commented, before running out. Konkuro somehow slept through it. Wait, oh you dog, a ninth mistress. Gaara ran out to the bathroom, before the door slammed open, and he averted his eyes. After all, there were several things that ticked females off, sending them on uncontrollable rampages. This included something messing up their relaxing time, be it Dango Anko sneezed, Sake Tsunade sneezed, or eating cinnamon muffins Hinata sneezed. People trying to steal their boyfriend, the controlled Sakura sneezed while Ino felt a slight tickle in her nose. The male in the relation not doing as they want, Yoshino sneezed. Also high on that list was Peeping's Tom's Jiraiya sneezed. To Gaara, it was obvious something had occurred in Temari's shower, and he did not want to deal with her being angry on two of those things, interruption and peeping. Brother or not, girls got mad. Temari was currently in a white towel, that oddly had Naruto's face on it, and odder still, said Naruto's face was being smushed by the C-cup valley of hers, that turned its regular smile into a perverted one. Where did she get that anyway? And furious. Alright, which one of you morons used up all the water? Water was prepaid for the month in certain amounts in Suna. As a cage family with several missions down under their belts, the Sand siblings had a fair amount, but not unlimited. Most of the water in Suna came from an underwater lake underneath the desert known as the Hidden Steam Lake, as the heat from the desert caused water from it to evaporate into massive tendrils of steam, before the cold of desert night caused it to reform into water. Fed water from runoff streams from the mountains to the north near the border with the land of earth and a few underground ones from the land of rivers, this lake was vital to Suna's survival, hence its management. I haven't even used a drop this entire week, ever since I figured out how to use cactus juice for ramen, Gaara commented. Gaara had taken to cacti growing as a new hobby, instead of killing. He had found out that some cacti could be milked for liquids, however this liquid normally caused strange behavior, hallucinations and mild insanity to most. In another universe, a tan man with a boomerang, as well as a black and white lemur with large green eyes, sneezed. However, Gaara was oddly immune to this cactus juice, never screaming about friendly mushrooms, blind people being lit on fire, claiming that the lemur had killed them all, or doing odd worm dances in the middle of the desert. So, one non-guilty brother. Ah, Baka, did you use all the water again? Eep, yikes, jinkies. Gaara appeared interested now. It appears, we aren't the only ones with having water problems. However, I do not have enough cactus juice for showering, but you can drink some. Tamari chuckled nervously, like she would. Last time Konkuro had tried that, trying to be friendly, he ended up tango dancing with Crow in the middle of Suna's most traversed shopping area, in the nude. She would not even risk it. Suna Council. It was a complete disaster. All the houses and businesses in town had lost their water supplies. It was a disaster, and to make things worse, everyone smelled. The demon did it. A male civilian council member yelled out for the heck of it, confidently. Even if it was unlikely, Gaara could no longer get away with killing idiots like him. The councils had passed a law. To the civilians they had seen that as a victory for them, but the shinobi had a different objective. After all, while it was not exactly good for Gaara to kill as he pleased, he could deal with them in other ways. Sand castration. The poor council member's eyes widened in pain and shock as he collapsed. The civilians growled, the law only stopped killings. The damn shinobi had left a loophole. Accuse me again in such a tone, and there will be more, the Tobextu Jonin said coldly. The council wisely smartened up, as Baki spoke up. People of Suna, we are indeed facing a crisis, and it has nothing to do with Gaara-san, at all. Instead, something has occurred in Hidden Steam Lake, astonished gasps began. The lake had long been a target for attack, but no village had ever tracked it down. Its location was well hidden, and if allies were taken there for whatever purpose, they were blindfolded and made unconscious for the trip. Just this morning, a patrol ran into a group of Suna and Konoha shinobi, all injured. This group, including Shitapa, Maki and Otokes of our own village, and from the Leaf, Shunin Higane Katsuzu, Kamizuki Izumo and Tobextu Jonin Gecko Hayate, all apparently suffering from burn-like injuries. They had been investigating the lake's steam, and its possibility for either being sealed into scrolls to be used as portable versions of the hidden mist jutsu, or for medicinal use, as a co-op operation between our two villages. However, they were attacked by an unknown something, and only one something I may add. This got nervous murmurs. What could do all of that, alone? All they managed to get on the attacker was a large, humanoid form and ruthlessness. As this affects both villages, the Hokage has been informed and is sending ninja to back up our own squad. Tamari, Konkuro, and Gaara, the trio nodded. And according to what the Hokage had said, a squad of ninja had been sent to support us. They are to be met at a point about 50 miles from the lake, and then our security policy is to be implemented. The ninja they have sent are Takiboshi Fu, Momoichi Haku, and Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto. Tamari and Gaara perked up at hearing this, and Konkuro pouted. Before rushing out to meet them, Baki called after them. Remember, the fate of Suna rests with you. A ridge moves. Sand castration tailed beast skill A. Description. Sand is used to harshly cut off one's balls and crush their remains into dust. Chapter 59. The steam being Akatsuki base pain, Tobi, Kakuzu and Konan had returned, and they sort of looked like hell. Kakuzu's torn Akatsuki cloak showed only one mask, a new earth mask that he must have obtained from the missing nin. Konan's hair origami was missing and her Akatsuki robe had cuts all over it. While this had the affect of revealing her sort of skimpy undergarment thing, her sketch art, Narutopedia, that did reveal that Konan was actually quite attractive, no Akatsuki member commented. They didn't want to get paper cuts in the wrong places. Pain appeared to be annoyed, and Tobi was twitching. We have returned, and the Hokages are dead. But Tobi got hit with a wood release, Poisonywivsap wall, and Tobi is really itchy. But I have finally triumphed, foolish Senju. Stick that over your will of fire. Ha, oh if only I had gotten a fresh sample of you, Hashi-chan. So, I take it the job was successful. Itachi commented. He wasn't happy about it, the Nidiame was his idol growing up. But then again, those guys were supposed to be dead, and such an order of things should stay intact. Yes, however it was not as easy as I had suspected, Pain commented. Now I'm down to only this body, after the Kyuubi Jinchuriki had dealt with the Naraka. I will have to restock, same with Kakuzu-san. Konan-chan also will require some time to recover. The Shadaime was truly a skilled opponent. If only that group of Konoha nin hadn't appeared when they did, I could have used their bodies after killing them, while they managed to nab the nuke nin they had been fighting, a patrol of leaf ninja, containing Akamaiki Chuza, Yamanaka Inoichi, Nara Shikaku, Inazuka Sum, Sarutobi Asuma, Mitarashi Anko, Yuhi Kurenai and a returned Hitaki Kakashi had shown up. The Akatsuki had been too exhausted to risk fighting them, and that snake user had used snakes to retrieve the cage's bodies. But still, it is a fine victory. Now that Konoha has lost them, any advantage they had gained has been mitigated. The wood release is still going to go extinct seeing as that Tesun and Tenzo can't reproduce it, Kisame commented. Zetsu shook his head. I'm afraid that is not quite true. The Jinchuriki of the Fox, Uzumaki Naruto, was given the release by Tesun, via the transference seal, as well as several others. You all saw that in your fight with him, when we had to remove you from that giant gemstone, Kakuzu chuckled, despite his situation. And it was worth quite a lot, the idiot fire daimyo finally has a ring big enough from that overweight bitch of his. Kisame was annoyed. So, that brat is going to be trouble, then capturing him should be a priority, before he breeds, Itachi sighed. He's 13, he's not going to have kids for a while. At the same time, the Leaf is the most powerful of the great nations, with 16 tails worth of power and many capable ninja clans. Capturing him, or the 7 tails, will not be easy, Pain nodded. True, Itachi-san, and they know of us, which makes them prepared. As it is, the 2 tails and 8 tails are similarly guarded in Kumo, the 4 tails has taken refuge in Iwa, and the 1 tails Jinchuriki apparently has enough power to fight that rival of ours, who attacked the Chunin exams. Toby was fuming. What the hell happened there? That Uchiha came out of nowhere, and somehow has the Mangekyo. I know exactly who can and can't have it, and no nuke nin Uchiha, of which 6 were recorded by the Konoha Council, and only 2 were ever caught, could. However, he does have his uses, like forcing more, sped-up action from his Rinnegan puppet ruler of the Akatsuki. I had been prepared to wait until they lax their defenses of the Jinchuriki before acting, however this rival, who appears to want the view for his own purposes, has forced my hand. Since the villages will do their own job of protecting the Jinchurik from the mysterious Uchiha apparent, we will focus all of our efforts to retrieve the unprotected. Deidara-san, Sasori-san, you will hunt the Gobi Jinchuriki. Deidara, I believe you know him, Deidara chuckled. Ah, Horsey Han-chan, I remember him from my academy days. This will be fun. Kakuzu-san, Tobi-san, as soon as you both are recovered, you will hunt the Rokubi's Jinchuriki, Utataka. Deidara and Sasori had located him beforehand, in the care of the Tsuchigumo clan. Deidara chuckled. A clan after my own heart, Sasori sighed. Because some of them are capable of exploding myself into city-destroying slag, Kakuzu smirked. I heard that has a good bounty on it. Itachi-san, Kisame-san, you will explore the wilds of the land of water, and find the wild Sanbi. Try not to be attacked by Hunter Nin if possible. He glared at Kisame. The shark man was far too noticeable. Finally, once I am Konan-san, odd how he refers to her as Chan only in his thoughts, recover, we will make our move on the sand. Being the weakest of the 5 great nations, and their Jinchuriki's power that Uzumaki Tesun has given him, this will be our hunt. Zetsu, be on standby for body pickup, the plant man nodded. Dismissed. Meeting place. The trio of Sand siblings were waiting. How long are they going to take? Konkuro yelled. Tamari shook his head. It has only been 5 minutes, Gaara commented. Because he controlled sand, he could use himself like an hourglass. At the same time, I think I hear something, Tamari said as rushing sounds were heard, as the newly dressed Team 11 appeared in a poof of leaves. Tamari was surprised to see Naruto in his new look. I've got to think whoever got him out of that orange, while it was still a Naruto look, his orange, it did sort of dampen his looks. Of course, she wasn't the only one, observing the new looks. For she had a perverted brother, and oddly it wasn't the one who could create a sand eye in the girl's bath. Wow, that tan beauty really has a chest. That old look of hers didn't compliment her assets at all. Hey there, so how about after this, we go and see this nice place back home in Suna? His eyes never moved up, to Fu's annoyance. Haku, Naruto and Gaara found themselves staring at the perverted cat man, and Tamari had her fan out, no doubt ready to smash him with it. However, Fu beat her to it. She flicked him in the face, which of course sent him flying into the nearest tree, and threw it. Ouch. Tamari eyed the green-haired Naruto rival. Okay. Why didn't you just knee him? She shrugged. Don't want to cause a dispute. You guys, last I checked, are a clan and the only 3 of them left. Seeing as through, and correct me if I'm wrong, Gaara probably isn't going to date anyone. Gaara turned away, and Tamari chuckled. Oh, I don't know, Matsuri might. Tamari remembered the student who appeared to have taken a liking to Gaara. Gaara had turned to hide a minor blush. Oh, so I could have kneed the pervert and your clan wouldn't have died out. Damn, Fu groaned. Well, you are aware of our policies with the lake, correct? Gaara asked. Naruto shrugged. Tsunade Ba-chan did mention it. Can I ask to be carried by the pervert? He motioned to Konkuro. The girls smiled. he was willing to be carried by that, for them. Oh, I do not believe that will be a problem. Gaara made the infamous hand seal for Shadow Clone Jutsu. An extra Gaara appeared. The Konoha team nodded. That works. Gaara released a gas pellet, tossing at the Konoha team who were knocked out. Temari, to her delight, took hold of Naruto, while Gaara took the girls with his clone, before speeding off, followed by Kankuro. In Steam Lake, Naruto and the others were brought to find themselves in a world that seemed almost alien. They were below ground, in a mist-filled cavern. The black stones sucked away extra quantities of light that came from the entrance they had traveled from, with the only other source of light coming from a torch in Kankuro's hand. The steam swirled around the cavern, making it difficult to see in. However, a large, shimmering surface was slightly visible. So, that's the lake, Naruto commented. Gaara shrugged. That it is. It's the lifeblood of Suna. As no one appears to like cactus juice, Naruto appeared interested. Cactus juice, what's? Temari coughed. Gaara, please don't. Do you want him hallucinating, like Kankuro did? The poor cat man sighed. And I really thought Crow was a pretty lady. That stopped Naruto in his tracks. However, it was at this point that a large, squelching sound was heard. The sound of a foot hitting a puddle. It's the intruder. Temari glared, readying her fan. Naruto and Gaara began focusing chakra. Fu got into a taijutsu stance, Haku readied a Fusenbon and Kankuro reached for his crow puppet. A large form then appeared through the mist, as the torchlight gave it form. The giant figure stood as tall as most Akamaiki, though he lacked the fat. A red and black suit of armor covered him, along with a broad hat. A torn black shirt sat over the armor. Virtually none of his body's skin was shown, except for the scrunched skin around his eyes, which resembled Kuretsuchi's. His scrunched eyes made him appearing to be glaring at them. On his forehead was the Iwa headband, though the mark had a cross straight through it. More humans, daring to leave my sanctuary, the figure glared at them. I thought those last intruders would have shown that I am not to be disturbed. Your cowardly race deserves, not the embrace of steam. So, this was the nut who destroyed the water systems taking water from the lake. What do you mean, your sanctuary? Kankuro yelled at him in fury. This lake is the property of the Hidden Sand Village. Get out, Iwa Nin, and submit for questioning, the man said with loathing. I have no ties with that hellhole of a village. Those people dare call me a demon. Ha, they are the demons. Fu blinked. This guy was like her. Naruto and Gaara were likewise shocked. Now die, by the hand of the Five Tails Incarnate, Han. Ninja art. Erupting steam. The steam around them began to superheat, before exploding in a blast of heat. Or moves ninja art. Erupting steam rank. B description. Steam is superheated until it explodes, incinerating foes. Chapter 60. The abandoned horses battle hidden steam lake. Ice release. Ice dome. Haku summoned forth a giant dome of ice around the group, blocking the explosion. The ice dome shimmered, though the effort did force Haku to her knees. The ice-cold dome began to react to the environment nearby, as water began condensing on top of it from the steam. You okay, Haku-chan? Naruto asked. She nodded weakly. Naruto glared out through the distorting ice, to the motionless Han. So, you survive, but you humans will not live to see another day. He did the hand signs monkey, horse and dragon. Fire release. Steam blast. All around Han, steam was being forced into the steam compactor on the back of his armor. Extending his arms forward, a blast of heated air was blasted towards the shield of ice. Fu took the initiative. Water release. Water encampment wall. A wall of water spurned around the ice dome, blocking the heat attack, though it did refill the area with steam. So what, are we stuck in this giant snow globe? Kankuro yelled. Fu glared at him. Unless you want to get boiled like a lobster, then yes. Gaara appeared to be planning something, before he placed his hands on the ground. Sand burial. Using his chakra, he controlled the sand that made up the floor of the cave below Han, and rose it up like a coffin. Han, however, didn't flinch. Really. Water release. Water expulsion. The water sucked in via the steam blast jutsu was expelled from the armor violently, dampening the sand and slowing it down, allowing for Han to walk out of it calmly. The sand collapsed as he left, and Han eyed Gaara with disgust. So, Ikibi, you fight alongside humans. Same to you, Kyuubi, Gaara had told Kankuro, and confirmed the statuses of Fu and Naruto to Temari, so this didn't surprise them. What surprised them was that Han knew. Only your incarnation can use sand, and Kyuubi, you really should cover those whiskers if you want to be plotting your revenge. But still, why is it you fight one of your own kind, with humans alongside you? Stay with your own herd, your own pod. Though I will give you credit, those mares appear to be at least of decent breeding, they'd be good brood mares for us, though I'd kill that gelding, that ticked them all off. Naruto was furious for him insulting his friends. Gaara was furious for his friends and siblings being insulted. Fu and Haku were ticked that he had suggested they were just breeding stock. Well, maybe if it was just Naruto they might not have minded. Temari was thinking similarly, though disgusted Han implied she'd sleep with her brother. And Kankuro was furious that he had been called a castrated horse. Hey, Fu-chan, Haku-chan and Temari-san are my friends, not just something for breeding, though if only Catman was a gelding we'd all be at peace. Hey, humans, and we demons, can never be friends. At best, they make only decent brood mares and entertainment. Besides that, they are a plague that shall be dealt with, starting with the population that leeches off this lake. Now then, prepare to be removed from that ice barrier. Hidden mist technique. He expelled a huge column of mist that hid his form. Haku was shocked. How the heck does he know Akiri Jutsu? Naruto shrugged, before he got an idea. Hey, we can summon shadow clones outside the dome to attack him, shadow clone jutsu. A trio of Narutos appeared outside the dome. Gaara appeared to like the idea, as did Fu. Shadow clone jutsu. Shadow clone jutsu. A trio of Fus and Gaaras appeared in addition, before a rushing sound was heard, and a shape flew straight at them. I've got it. Earth release. Earth-style wall. From her shadow clones, Fu formed a wall in front of them out of stone, that was smashed apart promptly. What the? Han flew at them, but he was now covered by a Jinchuriki cloak. One horse-like tail extended from him, that ended sort of with a dolphin-like split tail. The chakra cloak appeared to show off a mane-like chakra growth on Han's neck, and his eyes were red. Great, that, Naruto groaned, as he did the hand signs for fire release. Great fireball technique. A fireball was shot into Han, who dodged it with shocking speeds. He appeared behind the Fu clones, before he flew at them. The two shadow clones began to rapidly shell a sphere of glowing chakra in Fu's hand. Rasengan. The lead shadow clone smashed it into the attack of Han, resulting in an explosion. Fu-chan's. The Naruto clones yelled out in concern. Two of the shadow clones flew out of the attack explosion and were dispelled, while the final clone was struggling against gaining Han. Then Fu closed her eyes, as a red haze formed around her. Her clone similarly felt the power up, as her eyes turned yellow, and she regained momentum, forcing Han back. He appeared pleased. So, the Hanabi, how nice to make your adequateness. So, Ikibi, Hanabi, Kyuubi, join me. Together, we will rule over the evil humans, them at our feet. We will strike vengeance for their wrongs they have done to us, and we will make the worst of the lot fight to the death for our amusement. While the fairer ones will be used to breed forth new generations of demons to rule the world. So, apparently he was bloodthirsty, and apparently perverted. Fu looked appalled. That is disgusting. Han glared into her eyes. You know, you can have one as well. After all, as the reincarnations of the greatest of demons, in a world of perfect humans, for all the wrongs we lived, we deserve the greatest of rewards, the greatest of pleasures. Naruto looked sick. Man, you want a harem. What sort of sick psycho pervert wants that? Gaara eyed him. You, Naruto slumped. Hey, I have no idea how that happened. I never wanted it, it just happened. Haku and Temari shook their heads in good humor, and Kankuro looked like he was hit physically. Why do the best things happen to those who don't want it? He sighed. Fu smiled at Naruto's comment. Really, one doesn't ask for something like that, for only pleasure. Fu glared into Han. Eyes. Naruto-kun, your so-called Kyuubi reincarnate, gained several people who love him romantically, not because he wanted one, but because he naturally is a good person. Something you aren't. Fu with her full power forced Han backwards before creating a dust ball. Earth release. Dust ball. The earth attack was flung at Han, who dodged the attack that promptly went on to destroy a rock face nearby. Crystal release. Jade crystal blade. Naruto formed crystal sword-like tantos on the arms of his clones before they charged at Han. The armored man dodged their attacks, only to fall into a trap of Gaara's. Sand burial. Sand rose up around the armored man from behind, entrapping him, but this time Fu and the Naruto clones were prepared. Water release. Mist removal. The steam was pulled away from Han via Fu's jutsu, keeping him away from his powered source. Haku had taught her and Naruto this jutsu after hearing that Kisame Hoshiki, a member of the Seven Swordsmen of the Mist, was an Akatsuki. Lava release. Lava globs. Naruto spat several globs of lava at Han, that solidified in front of the sand burial to block his escape. His clones followed suit, completely blocking him as the sand formed around him to crush him. Man, it's over. I wanted to get action in, Konkuro whined, still inside the ice dome with the originals. The original Gaara was getting a feeling from his clones. Somehow, I don't think it's over. A blast of red light flew from the sand orb, followed by larger bursts of red light. The sand tried to hold, but failed as Han emerged from it, with two tails now. This is bad, Tamari commented. Unless a Jinchuriki had completed training, there were limits to how much power could be controlled. For an untrained Jinchuriki, staying conscious above one tail was a challenge. While Killer Bee, and Yagura of old, could stay conscious even as a tailed beast, even truly trained Jinchuriki like Yugito ni, Gaara and Utica struggled for control in a fully transformed state. Roshi of the lava release, the legendary Iwa nin who was the only one to survive a fight with Naruto's father, lost control at 3 tails, still at 75% release. That was something special. Fu lost control at the 3rd tail, and Naruto, in theory, probably would lose control at the 4th. But this guy had no training in control, if from what was heard, so that meant. Nay, he was no longer among the human order anymore. Han flew with even greater speed now, before appearing behind the Naruto shadow clones. Wind release. Wind encampment wall. A clone formed a wall of wind, that the now inhuman man smashed through with ease, dealing with the wall's caster. The remaining clones were desperate. Okay, time for that new Rasengan, he hoped it would work. Rasengan. The clones created the infamous chakra orb in their hands, the aiding clone being destroyed while the holder avoided such a fate. Holding the Rasengan in his hand, he placed 2 fingers below it before letting go with his hands and instead began to rotate the orb with his fingers. The ball had gained larger size due to this, and as the Berserk Han flew at the Naruto clone, he finally let it out. Big easy Rasengan. The Rasengan was sent flying at Han like a basketball, via the air. The ball struck the ground just behind Han, before exploding. Naruto clone grinned. Nothing but net, he chuckled, before being smashed by the still-alive Han, albeit with the steam compactor trashed. The clone poofed out, leaving a Fu clone and a trio of clones de Gaara to face him alone. Sand shot. The Gaaras summoned tendrils of sand around him that let loose a sand barrage towards Han, who dodged them with his horse-like speed. Nay, Han galloped at the Gaaras, before expending a huge burst of steam from his chakra cloak. The Gaaras were struck with the steam, poofing out the way as the final Fu clone appeared behind him ready to bash him on the head, before she was swatted away like a gnat. He then turned his attention on the ice dome. Crap, Konkuro surmised. That practically surmised the mutual feelings as the horseman charged at them. However, Gaara wasn't ready to give up, as he created a tunnel below them via the tunneling technique. Get it, he ordered, and all obeyed, the last being Konkuro, as Han smashed through the ice dome, before looking around in fury. A spray of chakra erupted from the top of his headpiece, like a blowhole, before chakra strings flew from the tunnel and grabbed him. Gotcha, you little Mustang, now then chillax. Konkuro thought he had the horse dolphin holder just where he wanted him. And he was more wrong than Shino with bug spray. The skin on Han's face began to peel away, exposing the blood beneath. The liquid then was pulled up, mixing into the red chakra, as a dark bubble surrounded him. The chakra strings severed from the chakra's sheer intensity. Oh boy, Kankuro mumbled, before the black cover faded away, exposing a blood red and black form with 3 tails, a blood mane, and a horse-like body. That is disgusting, Gaara commented from his third eye. Fu and Naruto were frankly disturbed. Could they end up like that? It was then that the head of the beast extended abnormally towards him. The rock itself was singed by the mere touch of its skin. No way, buddy. Substitution. Kankuro replaced himself with a rock as the group rapidly exited the hole. The giant beast neighed into the air demonically, before it galloped towards them rapidly. Ice release. Ice barrier. Naruto formed a barrier of ice that was easily shattered. The group dispersed as the horse ran past them, and split apart into 2 blood horses that pursued them both. Hell, Kankuro said at the one pursuing his siblings and himself. He extended his chakra strings and used them to smash 2 boulders into the horse, and broke apart to show it unharmed. Wind Scythe Jutsu. Temari sent a storm gust via her fan into the monster, that didn't even phase it. Gaara glared at it, as his gourd shook. Wind Release. Dragon Gust Jutsu. A wind dragon flew into Han the horse monster, blowing him back a centimeter at most. It was then that dozens of bubbles, red and black and clear varieties, sprouted from his body, before condensing into a true attack. Gaara's eyes widened. No. Get back, Temari, Kankuro. The ball had solidified around Han, before his jaw unnaturally opened, and it was swallowed. Why, now? Gaara yelled in desperation as the attack was blasted, knocking Han monster backwards and leaving a rut in the sand beneath him. Desperately, Gaara formed a giant sand monstrosity of some sort. Shukaku's ultimate defense. Sand shield, full chakra. The sand wall formed around Gaara behind the defense tune, as both were blasted apart. Gaara was sent flying across the cavern, straight into the lake. The copy of Han dissolved from the intensity of the attack. Gaara. Temari and Kankuro yelled, said Catman diving in after him. Temari, go, save your boyfriend and his other girlfriends. Temari was about to yell, but thought otherwise. Meanwhile, the other horse, the true one, was pursuing Fu, Haku and Naruto. The trio, however, was actually preparing for the counter-attack. Ice release. Demonic ice mirrors. Naruto created dozens of ice mirrors around the horse, followed by Shadow Clone Jutsu. Naruto's by the dozen were created and flew into the mirrors. While Horse Han was preparing to strike them, he found his legs being harassed by Haku's ice manacles and of Fu's antlion jutsu. Ice release. Endless Rasengan. A quarter of the clones formed Rasengans, while another quarter aided them as they flew and barraged into Han, alternating in tasks. The others were preparing a new original endless move. Ice Crystal Dual Release. Endless Jade Blade. All but one of the remaining clones of them formed the jade blade on their arms, before flying into the giant horse rapidly and repeatedly slashing. Moving fast, and in combining the aid of his friends, the horse was trapped with no way out. However, this was all a distraction, as the final Naruto was getting ready to deal with Han's rampage. After all, being a sealing expert, what would an odd aid like Tesu be without the ultimate sealing style against tailed beasts? Would release sealing style. Hokage style 60-year-old technique, Kakuin entering society with bliss-bringing hands. With the seal for sit on his palm, 11 wooden spikes pillars flew from the ice mirrors, via their shared element, around Han. From Naruto's hands, a green tendril of energy flew straight into Han's heart, causing the beast to moan out in pain. With sweat forming on his brow, Naruto began to suck away the beast chakra, as Han's original body armor began to reappear. Slowly, the red chakra was pulled away from the outer reaches of his body, until it only was on his chest and head. Arghhhhhhh. Han yelled in pain. Soon, the red chakra was gone, and Han was back to normal, just panting in exhaustion and with no skin on his exposed face. Apparently, like a young horse, he gets up quickly after such strenuous work. Naruto panted, as the ice mirrors melted away, before Han yelled in fury. How dare you betray me, Kyuubi? Using the jutsu of never a more vile human. Die. Han breathed in deeply. Ninja art. Erupting steam. The steam was superheated around Naruto, before it exploded. Naruto was sent into the air, and collapsed on the ground. Naruto-kun. Three girls yelled at once, before glaring in fury at Han, Fu's eyes turning gold once again. Ice release. Ball implosion. Cyclone scythe jutsu. Takigakure secret water release, water sword. A now gelding at Han was sent flying through the roof of the cave, into the sky. The girls panted, before they ran to Naruto, who was out conscious and healing. Though oddly, no new Kekkei Genkai. Odd. Naruto-kun, they sighed. His two teammates eyed the Suna kunoichi. You love him, don't you? Haku asked. Temari nodded quickly, while her brother was busy trying to revive Gaara, and now getting chased by sand barbarians for being this close to mouth respiration. So, do you accept our terms, CRA, and giving us contact with whoever gave you that Naruto towel in your bag? And anything else like that. Meanwhile in Suna, Fluffy found herself grinning, holding her wallet. And further meanwhile in the land of stones, Deidara Baka. Will you get a move on? We have a Jinchuriki to hunt. Sasori yelled in exasperation as Deidara was sampling clay. I need to restock. Sheesh, the Jinchuriki will be ours, so chill. A giant smoking mass smashed into the ground behind them. Turning, they saw the body of Han, barely alive and his steam armor ruined beyond repair. See, Sasori grumbled. Blondes have all the luck in the world. Tsunade found herself oddly annoyed all of the sudden just as he said this. A Ridge moves debuting here. Fire release, steam blast. Rank. A description. Drawing steam into his steam armor, Han blasts the foe with superheated air. Water release. Water expulsion. Rank. B. Description. A follow-up to steam blast, the extra water from the steam is expelled from the armor. Water release. Mist removal. Rank. C. Description. Removes mist or steam from the battlefield. Ice crystal dual release. Endless jade blade Kekkei Genkai S. Description. Using both releases at once, Naruto barrages his foes with crystal blades while using the ice to loop the attack. Hokage-style 60-year-old technique. Kakuin entering society with bliss-bringing hands normally is stated to only work with the Shadaime's necklace, however in the confining arc, Yamato appeared to be confident with the seal without it. This leads me to conclude it can be done without it, just it's more difficult. After all, I highly doubt that old Hashi got that necklace on the tailed beasts so easily, no. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video be sure to like, comment and subscribe as well as checking out the author on fanfiction.net.